You ready to go? Bill Bainey?
All right, how you doing? This is the Canton Avenue podcast.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Canton Avenue.
I'm Lane. This is my co-host, Cord.
Cord?
Yeah. And
Corbin.
this is our first guest, Corbin Miller.
That's me.
Corbin's
flesh.
like,
Corbin. That's me.
All right, boys. So we've got a few topics that we've picked out. We're gonna go through them. Try and captivate y'all, entertain you. But keep in mind, this is a learning curve. It's our first time doing anything like this. I've never even.
I feel honored.
Yeah,
to be
you
the
made
first
it.
guest.
Yeah, he was the second choice. My older brother
feel
didn't want to do it today, but yeah, you should be honored. But I've never dabbled in technology in this way, so there's a lot that goes into this. But we're glad you're watching. We were out on the town last night, and it kind of got me thinking. Okay, you've seen all these girls walking around; they look good, and
They look good.
they look good, Rich. But it kind of made me start pondering over some of my things that turn me off, things that I don't like.
Wait, before you get into that, though, have you ever noticed at Texas Tech, around here, there's more women in leather pants than anywhere else in the world?
What's up with the black leather pants? But at the same time, and I'm sure this is pretty common throughout other universities too. Gosh, we wear a lot of whitewash Wranglers. Guys wear a lot of whitewash Wranglers.
Absolutely. Look at your man.
Yeah,
over here.
exactly. I mean, it's the bread and butter, though. Can you really blame him?
Absolutely.
Can you blame him?
well, that's the entire thing, I think. When you start thinking about it, like, everybody's just a carbon copy of each other. I mean, like, you sit there and you see the memes all the time about, like, oh, I'm different, as she's holding, like,
He's just like me for real, though.
one of those, like, Stanley Cups that everybody's freaking out about
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
Dude.
Oh
like,
my
I mean,
gosh.
and it's the same thing with guys. I mean, like, guys do the same thing. I mean, I'm wearing a Nike, like, little sweater or
Pullover,
little
Yeah, type deal.
windbreaker, and then whitewash pants. I mean, I feel like that's pretty guy dress 101. So
Yeah.
not exactly super creative of me, but
Yeah. Well,
It's not ugly, though. That's the thing. It's like you put it on. I mean, I own a pair of whitewashed jeans. It's not ugly. Obviously, when I put them on, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to see half the population of dudes.
Sure.
Probably have the same damn thing.
Sure.
But it's not ugly. So
No, it's not bad looking. But with, that's one thing. They're comfortable, too. I feel comfortable. I feel secure in there. I like the way it holds the junk and stuff like that. But, the problem and what I don't understand about those black leather pants. And please tell us if they're wearing them other places, because those black leather pants, man, you can't be comfortable in those.
think about it.
Think about it. It's game day. It's 90 degrees outside. You got those black leather pants on. What
Black
are you
leather
doing?
pants.
What are you doing?
Well, here it's either black leather pants and a red or a white top,
White top, red or white. Yep.
or you switch it all the way around and you got a red tube dress on.
Yeah. No, I've seen a lot of those. I'm not mad about it.
No,
do what
absolutely
you
not.
do what you got to do.
They look good.
Do what you got to do.
Think about this. It's Saturday, right? And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go down to the burger joint.
Yeah.
How many of them women are gonna be wearing black leather pants?
You'll never find another girl like me.
You're never gonna see it.
You're never gonna find another girl like me. That's what she told me.
Yeah.
This is something I've been wanting to talk about. It's been on my heart. Okay. Grammar, just as a society, as a young adult population, I've noticed that there's a lot of errors grammatically, and we're kind of letting things, we're letting things go. We're letting things slip through the cracks. And for example, I'll be perusing social media, and I'll see something like the improper your, Y-O-U-R. Why do we like that one so much? Okay,
because that's the easiest and
I know
most
it's the
common
easiest.
one
It's the fastest. It's more. Yeah, it's probably used more than Y-O-U''re. It properly. If you're using both of them properly, I'd go as far as to say is Y-O-U-R is probably used more. But it makes me so mad. Hey, Rich, you going to work? This is Wyatt. He's gonna get on one of these episodes. See ya.
See you later.
But it makes me so mad when they get on there and they use the wrong "your." Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You're like, it's like you're having fun, but they spell it Y-O-U-R.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no. It's Y-O-U apostrophe
It-
R-E.
and-
You are having fun.
And I don't know if it's me.
think it's a speed
Do you? Yeah. Do you agree?
Well,
Yeah, like
I think-
texting, speed. It's just like,
I think a lot of times stuff like that, using the wrong "your," using the wrong "to," using the wrong "there," a lot of times happens when you don't think about it, or you're just typing real fast, long text message or whatever. The only time that it really bugs me is when you're having like an argument with somebody, or like someone like sends you a message that's probably not the nicest.
oh,
And they
yeah.
use the dude. I
Dude,
jump on that.
And,
I
and
jump
they
on
use
that.
like the wrong "your," or they use
Coach,
the
if
wrong
I don't want
"there."
to, if I'm out,
Put
Like-
it this way: if you're in a, like, if you're in a relationship, and you're fighting with your woman, or you're just having like a stern conversation with someone, and you type out this message, and you make sure all your grammar's correct, and then they sit there and send back, and like there's no periods or something in this paragraph, in this novel they send you, or there's a space between the last word and a period. For me, I'm just like, okay.
If
Don't
you-
hit the
you
space
can't-
button, just put period.
You can't correct people if they put a period after, like a space in between the period. Like that's if you corrected somebody for that, I'd be like, that's a little bit much. It's a little, but
Well, I know, but like, or for me personally, what bothers me is like, that bothers me. I don't like the space after stuff. Like, there's a space and then like exclamation point,
okay,
or like space
I
period,
haven't-
or space question mark.
yeah, I could see how they. I mean, I wouldn't like it either.
I just don't understand what drives you to hit the space button before you end the sentence.
Well, I don't know. I think it just comes down to speed. I mean, like
Yeah,
like
maybe.
there's so many shortcuts involved in like texting and stuff like that I think that your brain just kind of go. I mean, because if you double space it automatically inserts a period.
Right.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, but guess where it's at? Right after the
yeah,
damn
that's
word.
true. That's
well,
true.
yeah. And again, I
I
could
we're
see where
talking about
something
grammar.
like that.
We're talking about. I mean,
Yeah,
that's for me. I just,
yeah. No, I understand. I just kind of think that's the only time it really bothers me is when it's a text of like some kind of importance, like it's such like as like an
It's supposed
argument.
to be like a formal one almost.
right.
I mean, because if you're in like an argument, I would really hope you spend enough time looking at your words, to kind of mean them, I guess.
Right.
And that
Because
if
you're definitely you type it all out and you're definitely reading it over.
well, and
before you
that's
send
that's
it.
kind of what I'm saying is, I mean, if we're upset and you send like a very just fiery message, and there's spelling, grammar mistakes,
Yeah.
Dude, that's the first thing I jump on.
It really just kind of takes the fire out of
Yeah.
it.
It doesn't.
Like,
You don't take it seriously.
Well, I'm not nice on social media when it comes to like grammar. Like I'm not afraid to admit this. I've corrected people in comment sections.
Absolutely.
There'll be like a two-way argument, and I'll just be reading over it, because I'm bored, and I'll see somebody like use the wrong "your" or the improper "to," and I'll be like, I'll just correct them and then put the little asterisk by it. And I'm like, are you dumb? Like, look at you. You don't even know which "your" to use, and you're over here
They're
arguing
like,
about
who the
whatever.
hell is Lane Hollingsworth?
Yeah, I'm just in there, and I'm like, y'all are all dumb. I'm better than all of you. yeah.
It's like
Coach,
it's like
so annoying.
Her name's
though.
like Cindy from like Indiana or something.
Yeah.
And Lane Hollingsworth.
Yeah, they're talking about,
Coming in.
the proper way to make ice cream or something. And I'm like, they're like, you have to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, by the way, let's check our grammar.
Get
I'm like,
grammar right first.
I hated English class, too. That's the thing.
I loved English.
You did?
I did. I sure did. It's
was that
easy.
your subject?
What do you mean? Like,
I mean, because
Like in
usually
school.
most kids growing up have a subject that they're really good
Oh,
at.
I was great at English. I hated it though.
See, I was always good at math.
Yeah.
I
No,
was,
you were a math whiz.
I mean, I could do math problems all day long. But
Coach, you're the only reason I've gotten through my math courses in college. 1331, calculus. Ain't no way. Ain't no way I would have gotten through. Jennifer Wang.
statistics.
Oh, that was statistics.
That
yeah.
was statistics. Yeah.
I did not like that class.
oh gosh.
You talk about
Great
a sight
professor.
to see,
Great
though.
professor, though.
I didn't
great
even know he
professor.
was in that class with me until like the second week of school because that was the first time he'd showed up.
It just didn't seem. It wasn't an important class. Every day I went, I just got mad because I just didn't. She wouldn't.
My God.
She had a very like old teaching way. It was just off the. She'd go through on the slideshow and then take a few notes on the board, and I don't really feel like she answered our questions a lot of times. But this is not a formal review of the professor. I don't want any. Whenever this
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, it is.
But English was your subject, though.
No,
No,
I wouldn't even say that. No.
More of like a math guy, science,
It depended on what math.
gym, lunch.
We said.
We said.
I think history was my deal.
Really?
History.
Yeah.
All right.
I always thought history
I
was
loved history.
interesting. It's just one of those subjects that, like,
I can't memorize that stuff.
I mean,
It is very.
I never
it's,
had a
it's
hard time.
memorization, but it's just to me it was so interesting that I just
Yeah.
liked it.
the one thing that always kind of bothered me, didn't really bother me none, I guess, but, and my brother and I have had this conversation a multitude of times. It's like you spend the first, I don't know, I guess until about 7th grade, just talking like, Texas history or, just Revolutionary War, and then all of a sudden they introduce the Holocaust. And then from the moment they do that, that's like all you ever
World
talk
War,
about.
World War II is a huge chunk. It's probably, I think I remember, I think it was 8th grade they introduced the Holocaust when we started talking about
Yeah,
it.
7th, 8th grade, something like that.
Which I get, you usually have to wait until the kids are a little bit older before you start diving into stuff like that because it's so bad. But yeah, we talked about it, and we talked about it in English too. That was the thing. I had it in like 8th grade English class. We were reading about the Holocaust and stuff.
Well, that's kind of what I mean is that, you don't even really touch it.
And then that's it.
And then
that's
once
all you do.
the moment you touch it, that's like, that's the last thing you will, for the last 5 years of your schooling career, that's what you're going to talk
until
about.
you hit government. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? A lot of other states, at least, I don't know if this is a rumor. If so, correct me. But I'm pretty sure a lot of other states, they don't teach history like Texas history. Like we had a whole class dedicated to Texas history.
Got like a whole dang
Well,
year.
yeah,
Yeah.
New Mexico's not teaching Texas history.
Well, I know they're not. I'm saying I don't think they really have a New Mexico history. Like it's not a class, like a whole class.
Well, yeah, because Texas is extremely proud of its history, and that's why that.
Well, and it's also compared to like other
It's
states.
extremely proud
they've-
of everything.
Well, yeah, we're one of the few states that does the national, or not the national anthem, but the Pledge of Allegiance to its own flag.
Right.
Yeah, that is true.
mean-
Every day.
I don't know if there's a rumor. Apparently, I don't know if somebody told me this, but apparently we still have like an ability to secede from the United States.
I think everyone.
Yeah,
does.
can you not speak on that?
Does everyone?
No, you can't just secede. Like 98% sure.
Well, I'm pretty sure we made an agreement we weren't going to. I guess technically.
I'll do it, man.
I guess technically, if you had
I'll
enough
see
people,
right now.
if you had enough people backing it, I guess you technically.
Yeah, who's gonna stop me?
The U.S.
Well,
government.
Well, the other thing is too, if it were gonna be done by any state, it would be Texas, because it's
Probably.
like we
Probably.
are an economic superpower.
Well, yeah, and then we have.
You know what's always bothered me about Texas
What's that?
is it's not the biggest state in the United States.
Yeah. Alaska.
Isn't
It's
California bigger too?
California.
Yeah, California.
No.
Pretty dang
Nope.
sure it's California.
I think Alaska is the biggest, but I think California
Let
is
me see.
also
Alaska's
bigger.
the biggest.
I think California is also bigger.
Texas
than
is the second biggest.
California is definitely bigger than Texas.
Texas is the second biggest. Texas is the second biggest.
Corbin will let us
It
know.
is Alaska. You're right.
Alaska and then Texas.
Okay, why is it saying that Texas is bigger than California?
Because it is.
There's no way.
Dude, I told you like 8 times. I'm not making this up.
Dude, I was always told growing up that California was bigger than Texas.
They're lying to you.
They lied to
It's
me.
the damn media trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Am I too loud, Cord?
No,
Okay.
Okay, maybe I got it mixed up.
I think
You
they're
did
pretty
get it
close
mixed
in
up.
size.
They're
Okay, it's-
close.
Top 10 is Alaska, and then Texas, California,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got Montana. Then we got New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado.
Color me this. How big is the gap? Does it say? How big is the gap between like California and Montana?
As far as like what square acres or
Yeah, or
acres
how,
or square
yeah,
miles,
however
they're measuring it.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know how they're square miles. Alaska is 663,000. Texas is
Oh my
268,000.
God, that's a huge.
That's a big
It's
jump.
huge.
California is 163,000.
Okay, so it's close. I guess.
And then Montana's 147.
Well,
Oh, so
the reason you don't really
It's
see
close.
that,
Pretty close.
Close.
the reason you don't really see that is the way that like maps have to be
Mhm.
made. You can't properly display like land masses, like on the northern hemisphere in comparison to like Africa right there at the equator. Like Africa is huge as far as like land mass, but in comparison to other continents, it doesn't look as big.
What's the smallest state?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next smallest state?
Probably one of those
New Hampshire.
northeast states.
Delaware.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Delaware.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Hampshire's not a bad
Then
guess. Right?
Connecticut.
Right.
And Hawaii.
I remember like in like 7th grade when you had to do those like state maps. I don't know if y'all ever had to do that where
Yes.
you got like graded on how many states you could like correctly fill in.
Yeah.
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 No.
I was so
do y'all
good
remember?
at that back in
Do y'all
the day.
remember?
Who's cold, man?
Do y'all
was good
remember
at
in
that.
elementary? I don't know if you guys had this, but I remember sitting down in like elementary school, and we had a test on counting numbers.
What?
So we'd go sit down with the teacher,
Oh,
and and the teacher would.
Coach, your palms are sweating.
You start at one.
You're getting in there like,
Oh, you're just counting?
You just count.
Coach, you're in there.
You
You're in
just
there like
straight count.
you're dabbing the sweat off your
1,
head.
2,
When
3,
did they
4.
stop you?
100, I think.
No,
100.
you
I had
s-
to count to 100.
You can't. For me, it was like you stop when you don't know.
So, Coach, you're just going like 1,000.
You're just going. It was probably like kindergarten or something. So like,
Coach, no way. Because then there's a kid there she has to cut you off eventually.
I mean,
yeah,
obviously, I'm
get-
sure.
Yeah, okay, all right.
but like you're just going like, what if you don't know the number after 64? You know, you're
That's so nuts, dude. To think that at one point in my life, I didn't know that 65 was after 64.
Right.
That's crazy.
It's like kids, like some kids, you go, they can count. They're like, I can count to 10. You know, they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And that's like a
what?
thing.
You're like, what's after 10? They're like,
Yeah, that's nuts.
to 11.
Yeah,
You're like,
The
what?
thing that always kind of gets me is the fact that, I mean, you don't read for the first probably 6 years of your life, and then you don't read well for probably another 2 years after
For a
that.
while.
I mean, you're up there probably, 8 years old or so before I mean you're reading well.
Yeah.
Because most newspapers, I believe they said, are written at like a 5th grade reading level. I mean, so you're probably in 2nd grade, 3rd grade if you were pretty good at it before you would get to that kind of point.
Well, Coach, and the people in the comment section that I always have to correct, they didn't even. I guess they just skipped that part of school because they still don't know
Well,
they're
that'd be
yours,
writing.
man. Yeah, but they can't read it. They're just, they're not doing a good job. Here's something I've been wanting to talk about. I'm going into this is my second year at Texas Tech, and I got 3 semesters left before I graduate, boys. And I haven't found any woman who I'd like to spend more than 24 hours with. So I want to kind of touch on, what's dating life like in college, and then also, just for young adults. What are some of y'all's viewpoints on that? Because for me, at least, it's a lot of I know a lot of girls, but it's not one of those things where I'm finding one that I'd want to have a relationship with. I feel like,
I just hope it gets better.
I was gonna say, I think
that's
in
my
general,
only-
I think West Texas is tough.
West Texas, it's cutthroat.
Without college, keep that out of it. I think West Texas is tough.
Well, I think one of the hardest parts dealing with kind of the environment that you're in now is everything is so temporary. Unless you live in Lubbock or live around Lubbock and you just plan on being here your entire life, most people who go to school here will do their time. I say time like it's a prison sentence, but will do your 4 years or however long it takes you to graduate, and then you'll leave.
Get out.
And then you'll leave and you'll go most of the time back to kind of your respective areas.
Right.
Some people will go
Right.
different places, but a lot of people will end up going kind of back to what's more familiar.
But it's kind of, and it's not set in stone, and you don't have to do this, but it's kind of like a given that you go to college, you're gonna find, for most, you're gonna find the person you're gonna marry. Seriously, I mean,
What are the statistics on that? I mean, like I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just.
but do you see that being like it's kind of like the theme?
I
Is
think
that
that's
most
probably
people-
the expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that most people are going to go to college and you're going to find the person you're supposed to meet there.
But I don't know I don't know what how actually accurate that is. I would say probably. I would say back in the day, maybe it'd probably be a bit higher of a percentage, but
Only 15%.
we'll see. And that's kind of what
Wow.
I mean is that there's this.
I thought it was going to be higher.
Yeah.
There's the thought process that that's what's supposed to happen, but I don't think that. I mean,
My
obviously the
sources-
statistics.
What about the rest?
My source is hellogiggles.com for those who were wondering.
I don't know how accurate that is. What they do? Poll like 500 people.
We asked 100. No,
They probably took it from a community college or something.
Yeah.
found a whopping 17% polled. 17% said they met on a dating site.
That's like one of those.
2% on social media. 14. I can't see that one. 17 online dating. 15 college. 12 work. I don't think that added up to 100. So
Well, I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know where they're actually getting their statistics from on that, but that kind of sounds like one of those little political surveys that they do, where they like choose the area and they like choose the like demographic of people, and then they'll call in there and be like, of the people we called, this is the
Right.
the thing, and it's like, well, yeah, but you kind of picked your crowd before
Yeah,
you even.
Yeah, like I said, probably like a community college or something in the middle of nowhere. And I mean,
But maybe that's accurate. I mean,
might be
I don't
accurate
know,
for
man.
that.
But it's
But
crazy.
how are you going to compare and contrast between, let's say, Texas Tech and
Some other school.
some
You can't.
huge
You can't.
school?
That'd be a lot of work. But
I still don't think it's as high as you would think, though.
I guess that's just how it seems. I'm trying to think, man. No, I guess it is just work and dating apps now. I don't plan on meeting the woman I'm going to marry on a dating app, though. That's just me. That's me.
I've always
Yeah, I
said
sure
that.
hope not.
No, I mean, to each his own. If that's
I mean, you
what
never
you
know.
want,
You never know.
if that's what you want, yeah.
But I mean,
for me, I want to meet her
Yeah, I
in
agree.
person. Yeah, but at this point, I don't know if I'm in a position to sit here and
Yeah, I was gonna say-
critique how I want to meet
no,
her.
that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Beggars really can't be choosers.
I'm not
so-
begging though. I'm not begging. I don't need her.
Well, I'm not saying you're begging her, but I'm.
She's
just
gonna be
saying that
watching this here in a few years. I don't need you. Never did.
It's gonna be ironic if you end up single and alone.
She loves me. She loves me.
She's gonna be watching this in a few years. She'll be like, I do need you. I need you. Don't listen to that.
I was lying.
I'll tell you what. Odds are she's not gonna be one of the chicks on Broadway wearing those leather pants. So
Good night. She probably what?
she'll know how to dress.
She might
better.
have been though.
She might have been, but the thing is, she'll be dressed for comfort. I know her. Okay. So 15% are gonna. 15% is what I said. 15% are meeting in college. So, Corbin, yeah, you live in Lubbock, but you don't go to school here.
No, sir.
What's the dating life like out there on the streets? On the mean streets of Lubbock. First of all, if you're looking for a significant other, look further than Lubbock, Texas, because listen, slim to none out here. All right, it's slim pickings.
I wouldn't say that. I think it's confusing.
What's confusing about it?
For me, it's confusing.
Oh,
Because I got here 6 months ago.
okay.
Right? So I went from Fort Worth, growing up in Fort Worth, and then I went to Midland, and I lived in Midland for 6.5 years, and now I've been here for 6 months. So, and I'm not going to college. So I guess I'm still figuring out. It's almost like I'm a freshman in college and I'm 6 months in, still figuring out how the whole deal works.
Well, also,
But that's hanging out
yeah,
with you guys.
Yeah, you hang out with us, so.
So, I mean,
And a lot of times,
Here's the
we're
other
not
deal.
putting ourselves in positions to go out there and meet women,
Right.
Because frankly, I mean, we're fine.
Right.
It's fun to talk about, but we're fine.
right. But also, if I wouldn't hang out with you guys, I'm a homebody. I don't, I like going out, but I want to go out with.
Yeah, you don't want to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
There's
it's not fun. That's when you start
So-
talking about going to AA meetings. If I catch you, if I'm walking by the bar and I just see you in there by yourself, I'm like, I'm a little bit worried about him. But yeah, if that's what floats your boat, man, go nuts. But
That's what he enjoys.
you know what is cool. I bet for you though is when she, if there were a woman that were to come along, you've got big boy money. That's awesome. Because Coach, we're broke, and you got big boy money. I ain't got no money. I'm in college.
Yeah, but it's
man.
also for me and my standpoint, I'm not going to college, so at no point am I going to be in y'all's shoes. So where I'm standing, I'm like, what I'm looking for is totally different from what y'all are looking for, I guess to say.
Mm.
I'd rather find me a woman that is not, in college, I guess to say, and just
Yeah.
living off their parents or whatever. I'd rather find me a woman that's
Independent.
independent, working already, ready to go.
Do you know what that? Sorry.
I guess has a career, I guess to say. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Here's I'll tell you right now.
But I'll have fun.
I'll have a good time. I'll have a good time.
Fun.
No, don't worry about me. I'll have a good time.
Don't worry about me.
I'll tell you what I'm looking for. Coach, I guess I haven't even really thought about that, Cord. We're going to go down the line. What are you looking for? What does she have to have as far as qualities go? And let's try and keep it, let's focus on the personality. Obviously, you want her to be good looking. But, what's ideal? When you stumble across this woman,
There's really only two things that I think are really above all else I would deem to be important. I want her to be smart and I want her to be sweet. I mean, that's
And have good teeth.
well, that's a physical characteristic, but yeah. Um,
That's the first thing I look at.
but I mean, like when I think about like things that I feel like that are important, that would be what I would say, because I mean it's, you know, I want her to be smart. I want to have,
Intellectual
yeah,
conversations.
like, you know,
You want to be challenged by her intellectually.
yeah. I mean I think that that's
Oh yeah,
one of the things that,
absolutely.
you know, I mean if you don't,
I don't want to be sitting there talking to myself.
well, I mean if you don't at least respect your partner's intellect, I feel like there's already kind of a,
Oh, you're right. 'Cause
kind
there's
of a,
then there's a power dynamic.
yeah, and I don't think that's very good. I mean, people might disagree with that, but I don't think it's very good.
No.
And then
you're right. You're right.
And then, I mean, like I said, I just be
Like
sweet.
having to explain everything.
Well, the problem, not that, but it's just like if, and I used to do this to my little brother all the time when he was, you know, still learning and he wasn't very smart in comparison to me. He's very smart, but back then, if he got, you know, if we got into an argument or something, I could just belittle him strictly because he just doesn't, he cannot keep up with me intellectually. Like, he can say something and he can be mad at me and he'll get emotional because he can't express himself in the way that I could.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
I
so
gotcha.
if you take that into a relationship, between
That would never
spouses,
work.
you know,
That
it could
just-
it
that
could get
wouldn't work.
rocky. Let's say,
Right.
for example, you've got a wife who's way smarter than, you know, the husband. Then she's sitting there calling all the shots, making him feel dumb, even dumber than, you know, how she says he or how he feels.
That's worst case scenario though.
That's worst case scenario. But I mean, for
But yeah, no, I
in
get
that
what you're
in that
saying. I get what you're
scenario,
saying.
whoever's smarter's a POS because that's kind of messed up, you know. But
Yeah,
if you have two people who can challenge each other and, you know, almost argue in a debate type format,
But
I feel
in-
like that'd be way better.
But in strictly a debate though, not like it's my way or the highway.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what would end up happening.
and there comes in the, I want her to be sweet. I talked
Exactly.
about,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
you know, the two things that I find to be important. I would say that if you can find both of those qualities in somebody, you know, and it goes above being, you know, school smart or, you know, or I guess people always coin the term like street smart. I don't know if that's really even a thing, but I mean, just,
I think that's more or less street smart is common sense.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
you know, but I think it goes further on than just like an arbitrary number. I think it's, you know, like, do you think they're smart? And that's,
Yeah.
you know, because what I might think someone's very intelligent and you might sit there and say they're dumb, you know, but if you can find somebody with those two qualities,
It's
for
hard
yourself,
to lose. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to complain about something like that.
Yeah. No, those are two good qualities. I'd say, truthfully, I mean, can you really even pass that? Can you really ask for much more? You know, I mean, naturally, obviously, it helps if you're attracted to her, but you know, if you got a sweet girl and she's smart, whatever, you know. So
Well, I mean, yeah, and there's other smaller characteristics that I'm sure both of y'all could come up with that,
I could name so many.
you know, that, you know, that
We could
that-
sit here.
We
all
could sit
day.
here and build the perfect woman,
all
you know,
day,
but-
but that's not gonna happen.
all day. That would be fun.
what was that?
Just
I don't want to curse on here,
cookie cutter, but curse. Oh, you don't.
Oh,
I don't want to curse. You bad words.
but they used to call them
Shut
what, like,
up, Corey.
this isn't build a bitch.
Yeah.
You want to spend some time, Lane, and asking Corbin some questions?
Well, if I had never met you, What would I want to know? So what were you doing in Midland? Midland, because that's where you were living before.
So, okay. So, let me just start from the get-go. DFW. Grew up.
Gotcha.
Didn't graduate high school.
Okay.
Dropped out. Well, actually, I did drop out, but basically what happened was it was like junior year.
Uh-huh.
And I figured, why am I going to school when I could just be working? I was working at a tire shop. So I just quit going to school. I just started going to work every day. You know?
It's called truancy.
Oh, dude. So when I started doing that, the school called and they were like, we're going to send truancy officers over.
Yeah.
To your house.
You'll get in trouble.
Yeah. So me, you know, I've never seen truancy officers. Officers. Think about this. Officers.
What, are they like police officers? Or?
Right. I mean, that's what comes to your mind, right? You're like, oh,
No, but see,
kinda
like,
scary.
but here's what you think. Yeah,
Had me
I get
nervous.
it gets you scared, but I guarantee you, I've never seen them either. But you're getting all scared.
I have.
Oh,
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So I'm nervous. I'm like, oh no, truancy officers.
Yeah.
So it's like 10 a.m. one morning, and I'm just hanging out at home. You know, didn't have work that morning.
Ain't going to school.
Get a knock at the door. So I walk up to the front door, open the front door. These two little old ladies. They're like, we're the truancy officers. Are you Corbin Miller? I'm like,
Two old ladies?
Two little old ladies, man. They were there to come get me. And at that point, I had already decided that I wasn't going to school anymore. And my mom was on board, you know, my parents were on board.
discussed that with them.
They'd
yeah.
already understood. So at that point, I was like, yeah, just call my parents, you know. But for me, I'm thinking, you know, when I got the notification that it was truancy officers were going to come get me.
Shiver me timbers, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to jail.
See, I thought it'd be some guy in a polo, you know.
No.
Hey, Bubba, come in. We need you back at school. What's interesting about that is I bet it's one of those things where like actual police officers, they're like making fun of them down at the station.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have to be.
Truancy officers.
Yeah. In no way.
Truancy officers. Anyway.
Here's a great question.
What?
And, you know, I get it. You know, just in order to have a well-rounded populace, public school's a thing, right? What do you think the logistics behind making it optional are? Because if you have any common sense, you know, when your kids becomes of age to go to public school, you know, you would send him or her to school if you had that option. You know, if you had any common sense, rather than just leave them at home. What are the logistics, benefits, pros and cons? I know. I just kind of pulled this out of nowhere, but of making public school completely optional.
I got an answer for you.
Go ahead.
As someone who dropped out, I would say like beginning of junior year, you could test out.
Okay. Yeah. Testing out is a thing.
Well, I know, but like
they need to make it more like you got to jump through some hoops.
Well,
to
no,
test out.
I mean, yeah, but like testing out, like a lot of people are like, oh, I do like the what do they call the smart classes? You know, the extra
AP.
Yeah, extra credit kind of deal. No, like just test out.
Yeah.
For any kid, anyone.
I will say I benefited a lot from dual credit classes in high school. So did Cord. I came into college with 30 credit hours.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, for the average person that's not doing that, like, junior year, at the start of junior year, if you're, you know, you don't want to go to school anymore, you want to get your life started, you have the option to test out. I mean, don't make it stupid easy by any means, but.
The only problem that I really see for something like that is age, because you're not considered to be a legal adult until you're 18 years old, and most companies, even national retailers
17 in Texas.
That's a good point.
won't hire you
Yeah.
until
Pretty sure
you're
it's
So you've just
17
got-
in
17
Texas.
or 18.
So you've just got a bunch of young kids running around town during
That's what I'm saying.
during
Don't-
working
that's what
hours.
I'm saying. Don't make it easy.
That's, I guess that's part of the reason that it was made, because mom and dad gotta go to work. That's just how it is. I'm not advocating for making public schools optional at all. I think everybody should go to public schools. I also think it's good that I also support you in your decision. Now, if you were a bum, I would be like, you should have went ahead and finished. But you've
I know
made.
plenty, I know
yeah.
plenty of people who just like sophomore year just didn't go, and they're
Yeah,
still
yeah. No, I mean,
not doing
my
great,
buddy in
but-
high school set the record for lowest attendance while still being able to graduate. Senior year, dude, he cleared he's one of my
do you
great
even
buddies.
do that?
He cleared
Because don't you have like 9 days?
it was
a year or
the
something?
it was
Or
the tell him
9
the
days a
story.
semester?
Tell him the story. He doesn't give a damn. I know him so well. It was Will Paul. I love Will. Tell him that because he just won't go. He'll just be like, no, just. No,
That's
I ain't gonna-"
pretty much
Tell him
what
the
I did.
sniffles. Yeah, tell him this. Cord told me this story. It was so funny, and I could actually just see it happening. If you knew him, it'd be nuts. But tell him the story. Tell him the story.
So I guess I'll tell this story and we'll get back to talking about Corbin a little bit. But so this is before Lane moved into town. So this is in middle school. I think I were in like 8th grade, and we're playing spring baseball. It's like you've kind of graduated from Little League, so now you're playing like league, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know the actual term for that, but we're 12, 13, something. Well, I guess we're 13 because we would have been older than the Little League World Series type deal.
Yeah.
And so we had games sometimes like during the week. And this one particular week we had a game on Thursday. And Will Paul, the guy who we're mentioning in the story,
He's not
here,
even going to be mad
Yeah,
if we
he-
tell that he would love the fact that we're talking about him.
So, Will moved in, I believe, when we were in 7th grade. So he'd been around for about a year or so, and he was an athlete. I mean, he was a good athlete. He was a good baseball player. He was a guy that you really wanted to be there. Well, the last 2 days at school, I hadn't seen him. I mean, I didn't have a ton of classes with him, but but you'd see a guy. I mean,
Like the last day of school, or like
no, like
Oh,
No, the
like
previous
last
2
couple
days.
days.
Yeah.
the previous 2 days for this game, including the day of the game, he hadn't been at school.
Well, and this is different. You can't even continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think what you're kind of going with is this league was not affiliated with the school.
Oh,
so
that's what
him,
it was. Okay.
So him,
his attendance wasn't an
yeah.
issue.
So like,
as far as
whereas
eligibility to
normally
play.
if you
but
were,
this man's was showing up. At,
well,
games and
I'm
practice.
getting to this. I'm getting to this. So him not being at school didn't eliminate him from being able to play the
right.
game. But I just assumed that because he was gone the last couple of days, he wasn't going to be at the game.
You're sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, game's probably 7 p.m. and we always had to get there an hour before the game started just to warm up and get loose or whatever. And coach, about 6 o'clock, here comes Will Paul, and I'm looking around and I'm
His
kinda,
happy ass is coming
yeah,
down the.
Will
coming down the
looks
sidewalk.
Will looks
I can
Will
see it.
looks fine. He looks
He looks great. He's
Yeah.
in perfect health.
best I've seen him in years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hydrated. He's doing
Hydrated,
great.
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he's doing real good.
Took his vitamins this morning.
So I was catching and I was warming up with the pitcher, so I didn't
Plenty
get a
of
chance
rest.
to. So I didn't get the chance to talk to him, right at first. But right before the
you got to
game,
do some inquiry though.
yeah, so right before the game, it was eating at me. So I finally walked up to him, and I said, Will, I'm real surprised you're here. He kind of looked at me, and I was like, yeah, because I assumed you'd be sick,
Hadn't been in school.
You hadn't been at school last couple of days, and he goes, oh, dude, I really was, and I go, well, dude, you look good. I mean, like
You look good, Rich.
Yeah. He goes, Cord, about 2 days ago, I came down with the sniffles. And he goes, looks at me dead in the face. He goes, I don't fuck with the sniffles.
Which I
And
love that story.
And I mean, again, that was 6-7 years ago, and I still remember that
I don't
conversation.
fuck with the
I'm
sniffles,
using
bro.
that.
Yeah, no, he
Using
calls in for a full 48 hours. He's decommissioned. He's got the sniffles.
Kind of bringing it back to Corbin a little bit. Something I really wanted to talk to you about was, as you mentioned previously, you ended up dropping out, or didn't finish high school.
Right.
And I knew a lot of kids growing up that wanted to do something similar, wanted to, pursue other things or what it might be. So I'm kind of curious, how did that conversation start out with your parents? How did you, because you mentioned that you had their full support. How did that happen?
Yeah, it was a long road. I mean, it was a fight. They wanted me to stay in school, but it was basically what happened. So I stopped going to school and I started working, like I said, and then they were like, "Well, you have to kind of do something else. Like, maybe not go to the school you're going to, but you have to finish high school." That's what they were saying. So they sent me to, the school that like all the pregnant girls go to.
Yeah, it's called Vista.
Yeah, it's something.
Is it like the In Trouble school?
Yeah, it's like different for every school, the name of it, but
Bunch of pregnant girls.
Yeah.
Man.
so I went to that school.
No, we didn't have pregnant girls just walking around our high school. I'm sorry. Okay, I get what you're saying, but yes, I want to clarify. Bandera High School did not have a bunch of pregnant girls walking around, okay? I don't think there was a single one. Continue, sorry.
My high school was huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were getting busy.
they were getting busy.
Yeah.
But like, you had the couple of them that might have got pregnant. You had the couple of them that were in trouble.
Yeah.
So they
Just
sent
hanging
me.
out.
So they sent me that school because it was shorter days, and you go in. It was very easy going. Quit showing up to that one, and they figured out about that. Well,
Were you just cutting class?
yeah,
Your parents had no idea.
no,
You're just going to work instead. Just, hey, I'm going to school, and then you'd go to work.
I mean they would they worked.
Yeah.
Both my parents worked, so they'd leave the house at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and wouldn't get home till 7, 8 at night at that time.
Yeah.
So I was just gone. I just didn't. I had my own vehicle.
Uh-huh.
I just didn't go. Just went to work. It was easy. It was great. But anyway, after that school, they sent me to. We tried a charter school. You ever heard of charter school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sent me to a charter school,
I don't like charter schools.
and that was even easier. Like I went for probably about a week or two,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd go in at like, I don't know, something ridiculous, like 10 a.m. You get out at like noon. Like, it was super easy.
I got school tomorrow.
Yeah, it was super easy, but again, just didn't go.
Yeah.
Personally, I liked working, so I made money. Why would I go to school over making money? So,
Hey, Talon, will you close that door? Yeah, thank you.
but the whole truancy, that whole deal, that came when I was at the charter school.
Mm-hmm.
But the school I was in, Keller High School, the original school, they were thinking I wasn't in a school. They were thinking I was just like,
So you were still technically enrolled at Keller.
technically, yeah.
Okay.
But I was also going to this
Yeah.
other school. It was a mess. But anyway, at the end of the day, I was like, they figured out I wasn't going to the charter school either. So they were like, all right. My dad pretty much sat me down and was like, hey, if you don't want to go, like, I understand, but you have to make something of yourself. Like, I'm not just going to let you not go.
Yeah, you're
And
not
be a
just going to
bum.
sit here. Yeah.
You're not going to be a bum.
Well, were you doing that on some days? Like if you weren't scheduled at work, were you?
I mean, yeah, it was high school. Like, I was,
Did your parents not notice like this? They're like, he's working 40-hour weeks. They're like, you
No.
got some fat paychecks. No, they just never noticed.
No.
Huh?
Well, the place I was working, the guy would pay me. He paid me like $100 and check. He would write me like $100 check for the week,
Did you report that on your tax statement?
but he would pay me in cash for the rest of it,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Nice try.
We don't. Even, I didn't even disclose where this was.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a tire shop
Yeah.
somewhere in Fort Worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, he pretty much said, "You're not going to be a bum, whatever
Uh-huh.
you do." So, at that time, I was working there, and when I went to work shortly after that, I told the owner of it. I said, "Well, looks like this is what I'm going to be doing. Teach me the ways," because they were growing like wildfire.
Yep.
So I said, "Teach me the ways. I'll open up my own store. I'll do whatever it takes." So he taught me all the ways, and then a buddy offered me a job in Midland.
There you go.
But
Looking back, do you ever regret not finishing high school, or are you happy that you made the decision that you did?
yeah, because sometimes I want to take a different route, and a lot of stuff requires high school education. I mean, granted,
you could get your
you could
GED.
get GED, yes, but how hard would it have been, just to finish high school?
So part of you is like, yeah, I kind of wish I did.
Yeah.
But you're 17 years old. You got a thick skull.
I
So.
mean, it's not hard though. High school's not hard.
No.
I mean,
I do not
I wasn't
understand
taking
people
the
that
extra
fail
classes or
No.
nothing,
Uh-uh.
So, the part of me's like, why didn't you just finish?
No, yeah, it's a cakewalk. Even if you take the hard classes, it's really not that hard.
Yeah, but it's also part of me regrets moving to Midland and taking this job, because I would have been in Fort Worth if I'd have just stayed. I'd had my own shop, tire shop.
In Fort Worth, you would have inherited that. You think?
No. So
you would have
basically,
you would have went and bought your own.
no. So basically, what would have happened is, like he was training me to run a shop.
Oh, so it was like a chain type
Yes.
deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a small chain, and they were, like I said, growing like wildfire. But they were like, it's like mom and pop buildings,
Yeah.
So he pretty much was training me for that, and then
Oh, and so somebody offered you a job in Midland, and that okay.
Yep.
Okay. Pretty
Think
good
you'd
pay.
ever go back to do something like that?
do what?
You think you'd ever go back and do something like that again?
What?
Like work at like a tire shop?
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
running that joint,
Yeah, if I'm running it, absolutely. I could go back right now.
what's stopping you? I mean, I don't want you to leave, but
It's not what I want to do.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You happy where you're at now?
Actually, no, I'm not. Me personally, my goal as a kid was always to be an airline pilot,
Okay.
like the just like American Airlines, Delta.
Yeah.
I want to be an airline pilot. So.
I
what are you gonna
mean,
do?
it's yeah. There's a lot of school, but I mean, one of my buddies went through it, and another one of my buddies actually has his license. He lives right down the road. Not to fly like a 747, but he can
Yeah.
small one prop.
Which I was working on. I have like 20 hours in it right now. I don't have my license, but I'm like halfway there.
Okay, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
You ought to go with him,
But I stopped.
Ethan. Yeah, he's got his license.
I stopped. When did I stop? Like 2 years ago. Koa got parvo,
Oh yeah.
so he took all my extra income.
Disposable income.
He's a good boy, so.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
He's fine.
You got any questions, Cord?
Well, I mean, the only thing I would really ask any more of is, you've, even for a guy as young as you are, it seems like you've had quite a bit of life experience just because of some of the decisions you've made, and you've talked about regretting some things and not regretting others. If you had any advice to give for somebody who might be kind of in and around that age where, they're kind of faced with those decisions, what would you say?
What I would say,
Good question.
there's not like something specific, but
Be sure.
be sure of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't if you're 16 years old, 17 years old, junior in high school and thinking about dropping out, don't just do it because you want your free time.
Yeah, that's the wrong reason to drop out.
It's not. Yeah, it's. I mean, do it for the right reasons. That's all I'd have to say. You know, like know what your path is. If you're gonna drop out,
You need to have a plan.
you need a plan.
Yep.
But like I said, if I could go back, I would just go to school.
Just finish it.
Just finish it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
And then
you're a
also-
year away. You're 2 years, year and a half, 2 years away.
Also, I don't know what your social life was like in high school, but I mean, when I was in high school, me and my buddies, I mean, I had some of the most fun ever in high school. We had way too much fun in high school.
I didn't have a lot of friends in my classes. Like I had friends, but
Yeah.
I didn't share a lot of classes with them, or I didn't share really any classes with, really close friends. So it's kind of a drag, I guess to say. So
But y'all weren't like, I mean, we were breaking the rules and stuff, man. We were having a blast.
But I think what he kind of means is that, like, because we went to a smaller school, we could have fun during the school day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he was,
Oh, yeah, because you had
Yeah.
such a big school, man.
and he wasn't having
The
that.
odds of you getting a
we had,
class.
like, and don't quote me, but like I think like 1,200 kids to a class.
Damn.
Like my graduating
Okay,
class.
okay.
Yeah, no.
I thought you were
no,
like
no,
fucking
no,
lecture
no.
halls, bro.
I mean, we had like 30 kids like in a class.
Yeah.
Like there was, like you'd go to class, or we had like 8 periods or whatever, but there was 30 kids in that class at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It was always different, and obviously multiple teachers for one subject, but it was hard to get paired up with your friends.
Yeah, I guess that's really different because I had quite a few classes with my buddies, and then on top of that, it's such a small school that you're just tight with everybody.
Right.
I mean, when I say small, we had like 133 in our graduating class.
Something like that.
Yeah, which not tiny, but pretty much everyone. Like
Yeah.
at least 100 people out of that
Mhm.
class.
You knew a vast majority.
Yeah. So
I mean,
but
basically,
we had
in my high school with 4 years of that many people, you saw a new person every day.
yeah somebody you'd never seen before.
Never seen in your whole life.
Yeah. See,
You're like,
that's not how
who-
it was.
yeah.
You never got caught off guard.
Right.
You knew everybody's face
Right.
at least. Literally everyone's
Right.
face.
I mean, in passing periods, you take the same kind of route through the school,
Yeah.
and you'd see that the same faces. But
Uh-huh.
then someone would take a new route, and you'd be like,
Who's that?
"Who the heck is that?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how? And then the other thing is, how old is that person? Like you didn't know if they were senior, you didn't know if they were junior, sophomore, freshman.
No.
But
But what was cool about the small town is, we weren't always making the best decisions, but like when we threw parties, man. My joke is, and this isn't true, obviously. But, my joke is that like the pastor was there, because I mean everybody. Was coming there.
everyone was there.
And we were built different. I mean, I know everybody in high school thinks they're throwing the best parties, but I mean, we were having like, we lived 45 minutes an hour outside.
My house was a party house in high school.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because my parents, I mean, granted, I would go with them a lot, but to the lake, they would always go to the lake on the weekends.
Oh, okay. So y'all just
So
you and the boys. Get
everyone would they kind of just congregated
Coach,
in my house.
we'd have people.
Party at Corbin's.
We'd have
Literally,
people.
that's
It's
what
like
it was.
it's like an hour and a half drive to central San Antonio. We'd catch people from east side San Antonio. We're 45 minutes west, and they'd be like, "We came all the way out here for this damn party." We'd pack that double wide full, man. I'm telling. It was awesome.
That's awesome. The best part of the parties in my house is like we would get rowdy, and you're high school, you're drinking beer, you're
Colbert. Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
And you're spilling it everywhere.
Oh, it gets so messy.
You're spilling it everywhere. Best part is I would, Sunday morning,
You gotta
I'd
clean
wake
it
up.
up.
I'd
yeah.
wake up and I'd use all these cleaners to clean the whole house. And now as I'm older, my mom's like, or my mom and my dad, they're like, we come home and it smelled like the cleaners just came to the house. She's like, I didn't schedule the cleaners to come on Sunday morning.
Coach, we would Yeah,
I mean, they knew.
Yeah,
you know?
they knew.
They knew.
That's the thing about it. If you're watching this and you're in high school, your parents know. They know.
They know.
Like, but there's just you pick your battles. You choose your battles, and that's what my parents did, and that's what your parents did too.
But I think the thing is, I don't think they said anything because you're home, right?
Yeah.
You didn't go anywhere.
Nothing bad happened.
Yeah,
so
if
it's
you
kinda,
don't,
Till the cops show up.
you don't have to just be responsible.
Yeah.
You can
Absolutely.
break the rules. Just do it in a smart way.
Absolutely.
You wrap it up? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you for the next episode. Corbin, pleasure as always, brother.
Thanks. I'm
Yes,
honored.
sir. All right.
Appreciate it.
of course.
See you
Thank
next
you.
time.